Coming up today on the Village Idiom.
This one kills me. Horton hears a poo.
Dum dum da da. Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that takes a popular saying, takes a shallow but hopefully comedic dive into its usage, origins, etc. But also hang our conversation on said idiom. So
Absolutely.
Here we are. My name's Jurassic Mark.
And I am Skinny. I'm very excited to present this week.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
What gets you excited about this one?
Well, because of the subject matter. I don't know how quickly you want to dive into things, but I love this subject.
Okay, well then, here's it.
Hey man, who cut the cheese?
You smelt it, dealt it.
That sounds like a little hint of Cheech and Chong.
No, it did. It does sound like
you
that.
smelled
I don't know who the
cut
first actor is, but the second actor is a very, very, very young Richard Dreyfuss in American Graffiti.
Okay.
Driving around in the back of their 57
Dave's
Chevy.
not here.
Hey, man. Where's Dave?
Dave's not here.
Who cut the cheese? So that's our idiom for the day. Who cut the cheese, or cut the cheese, or I cut the cheese?
Well, what I particularly like about this subject matter at this time of year, because we're into December now,
Right.
and this time of year, I don't know if it's just like one of those family traditions.
'Tis the season to be smelly.
Out comes those little laughing cow.
Is that only at Christmas time?
Tinfoil wrapper?
That's not only at Christmas time, is it?
No, but it reminds me of this time of year.
Oh,
At our house, it's because it's the baby cheeses.
what?
The laughing cow are the baby cheeses.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Was the cow in the manger laughing? The cattle are lowing?
It's the baby cheeses.
I heard you.
If I say it enough, it'll become more amusing, maybe.
I had this thought. Did I say this? I feel like I said this in a different episode or something.
You're gonna make me sad.
No.
And that would be a blue cheese.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't even see that coming.
I love cheese. So delicious.
Is there? No. Okay. I had this thought the other day. Do you think there's a dairy farm in Nazareth? Just so there could be a company called Cheeses of Nazareth.
That sounds amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't you hope there's a product you can get online? Cheeses of Nazareth. That's hard to say.
Well, if there was, where would you put because there's different places that have like high cheese production output, like really like well known for France or Italy probably have the highest unique cheese, and they like copyright them to death.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But of all places that has probably the most cheese would be Kurdistan.
I'm waiting.
It's Kurdistan.
Kurd.
There it is.
I was waiting. I'm like, keep going. What's the punchline?
So that is the punchline.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I love cheese. It's so delicious. And so in honor of the love of cheese, I brought in actual
look at this.
French camembert.
If you're just listening, he has an actual carton case. What do you call this?
I don't know.
A wheel?
A container.
A wheel of
Camembert. And so it's
camembert. I can see
it's inside this like bamboo type French. So Camembert is a region in France, and just like a great.
It's actually balsa.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know why they would.
But it's a wooden.
It's in its own
case.
wooden case, and then inside is the lovely. Oh, can you get a waft of that, little bad boy?
Oh my!
Yeah.
And so
it's a delicious cheese with a bloomy white rind.
This is exciting. Are you cutting into this?
Let's cut the cheese
You're
right
gonna
now.
cut the cheese, legit.
If we're
cut
gonna
the
do an
cheese.
episode on cutting the cheese,
You might as well. I just did.
then we're gonna get into this. Now, Camembert is one of my favoriteest cheeses to make. It's very much brie like, and
It looks like brie, smells like brie.
yes, it's brie, very much brie. But the thing that is probably most interesting about that in Cheeseland is that you can have the exact same products and do the exact same styles, types of cheese, but if you make it into this region with these cows,
New name.
it's a new name, but
Right.
it's still the same kind of cheese.
Right.
So if you make it elsewhere, it'll be a Camembert styled cheese or a feta styled cheese, even though actual feta. Isn't that something?
It's good cheese.
Camembert is delicious, but I make Camembert.
I don't I like melting brie. I don't like just like this, but this is better. Brie, I don't know, something about just
I love brie.
eating it unmelted is like, I don't know, it's not my favorite one.
Well, the outside,
So is this basically brie bread somewhere else?
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same molds. And
What's the word when you don't like hearing people chew? It's like
There's ASMR,
audiophora.
anti ASMR.
There's a word for it when you don't like it, where it sets you off. We're losing listeners right now.
As we eat cheese in front of them, and we're just in our own little world of delicious.
Audiophobia, audiophonia,
I don't know. Anyways, we love cheese.
misophonia.
Misophonia. So, having this sort of thing at this time of year,
It is misophonia.
Is
I was
it?
like, as you said it that way, I'm like, I've heard this somewhere.
That's good.
Misophonia. A disorder in which certain sounds trigger emotional or psychological, physiological responses that perceive as unreasonable given the circumstance.
And when you come to a good cheese platter, I love a good cheese. Continue.
I love cheese as well. I think that, you know how there's like
I love
wine
cheeses.
connoisseurs, cigar,
Amen. I'm glad you
cigar
love cheeses.
aficionados. I would love, like, I could sit there and just taste cheeses.
I could taste the sweet cheeses all day.
Do you put cheese? Do you put cheese? Do you put cheese on apple pie?
No.
Yeah, I do. I remember visiting my grandparents,
Okay.
and they
a good
lived in Central Washington, and that was just normal. You got your apple pie with a piece of American cheese on top, and now that's the way to eat apple pie for me.
So that sounds good because I like apple pie and I like cheese.
Right.
So we have a weird one in our family. I don't know if other families do that related to pies, where we like if it's a berry pie, you put canned milk on it.
No.
It's an
What is canned milk?
it's milk from a can.
But why not just put regular milk on it?
Oh, disgusting! It's gotta be in a can before it's any good.
Is it cheese-like?
No, but it's that creamy. What you're talking about?
So is it denser than milk?
I could see there being
from a
like
carton?
Yeah, no, it is more viscous for sure.
I don't know that word. You make me feel dumb.
So in the whole cheeses land, cheeses are copyrighted per area.
Okay.
In that, like, I don't know if you heard, like, Grano Padano.
Look at who came with the research today.
Well, this is like one of my. I actually love cheese, and I make cheese.
And you like making cheese, yeah.
Yeah, so I've made I've made camembert a number of times. My last two cheeses, total disasters. One was a camembert. I'm not sure what I did wrong, but it's like if there was a Harry Potter spell to put on it, it would be liquefy, because they just like dissolved.
I feel like there could be
Liquefy.
a camembert joke like, does a camembert cut the cheese in the woods?
If a camembert fell in the forest,
You know the-
the bear. Yeah, I was following you.
Okay.
I don't have a good ending.
Misophonia.
I don't have a good ending to it, but and I made a blue cheese that
Okay.
also liquefy.
Really?
Yeah, Harry Potter. And so it like turned into like dissolved soup of blue mold. It was really crazy.
Did you eat it?
No, I did have a taste.
That's
I-
called eating.
No, it wasn't like I'm gonna hunker down to a
Just
piece
like
of cheese.
one of
It was
those tiny little tongue touches.
It was like,
You did a tongue touch.
yeah, that's not good.
You never forget your first tongue touch.
Absolutely,
On
you're running
liquefied blue cheese.
the next like 6 hours. You're
I
like,
find with
I'm
blue
pretty much gonna have crazy diarrhea now.
Right. Camembert. Bum. What were we just talking about? Blue cheese. I find blue cheese, real blue cheese, the stronger it is, the better. But then there's certain like blue cheese salad dressings where I'm like, what is wrong with this? It's got like a paint thinner aftertaste. I'm like, is it just because it's synthetic?
Liquefy.
Is it just synthetic, or is it not as good blue cheese? Because I love a blue cheese.
So if you take blue cheese and make it in a specific area, that's where you get like Roquefort.
Okay.
And so they'll change like the milk types.
I'm like genuinely impressed with all the cheese knowledge.
Well, the mold used for that one is Penicillium roqueforti, which is an actual thing. And then
It's called
on
that?
this one, it's Penicillium candidum and Geotrichum candidum, are the different mold, like this white coating.
Ladies and gentlemen, Skinny is
I
not
love
even
cheese.
He's not even reading these words. He's just off the cuff, top of his head, penicillium modium, whatever he said.
It's penicillium roquefort. It is so cheese is delicious, and so when people are eating a brie or a camembert, and they're like, "What is this white stuff?" It's like it's interesting. It's like that is mold. You are eating the mold layer on the outside. But if you were to tell somebody eat this mold, they're like, "No thanks."
Yeah.
But if it's like, well, this is now it's delicious,
Right.
Yeah, better off not knowing. Which is how I sum up my life.
Some of these, like brie, is that where some people name their daughters brie? Mm-hmm. Is that
because they stink.
They're just naming them after your
They've got a
favorite
white
cheese.
bloomy rind. I don't know.
No,
Brie Larson is white
nobody
bloomy
names their
rind.
kids camembert or cheddar. Parmesan.
Gouda.
Actually, I went to school with a parm.
Oh yeah, that
So
sounds good.
maybe they named their child after.
Yeah, was it Parminder?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. I would Parmesan. I've never heard of a Parmesan.
No.
This is my
I've heard of Wyclef Jean.
beautiful music.
No, just brie.
So yeah.
That's the only one that works. We like brie.
Anyways, so cutting the cheese.
Cutting the cheese.
Everybody, it's funny.
So we're
how-
of course talking about the idiom, not like we've spent a good chunk of time just talking about real
10 minutes
cheese,
later.
which is not what the idiom. The idiom refers to, of course, flatulence.
flatulence. Everybody loves a good fart.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. But I don't know. I don't mean it in any like. Guys, perhaps more think a fart is a funny thing.
Right.
I don't think the girls do as much.
No.
I think they think it's disgusting and you're a pig.
Yeah.
But sometimes when it just somebody lets one rip, you're just like, like I don't know why.
It's always.
I never grew up from being 8 years old.
But then you meet your significant other, and like you just bottle that stuff up for a while,
Yeah, until you like have stomach pain.
and then you're like, we're close enough now, right?
You're not leaving. Once
Do you love me?
Once I got that ring on your finger.
Yeah. once you're married, and hopefully your first one isn't in the bathtub. Oh, not only did I hear that, I felt that.
Nice. Appreciate that Hershey kiss you left
Just
behind.
rolled up my back.
That's hilarious. When you have the cutting the cheese that rolls up your back. That's crazy. And it's so unusual that you're like, that was there. And yeah, air can travel two directions. So
I
that's
remember
interesting.
when my kids were little, one of them asking, like, why does a fart smell? And I didn't even attempt to get into methane gases. And
Well, you see.
no, I was like, well, think of it this way. If you were standing outside of a tunnel, and inside that tunnel, every inch of the walls of that tunnel was smothered in chocolate, and a breeze blew through that tunnel, what would you smell outside the tunnel? Chocolate. Like, that's what a fart smells like.
So I was going through before we get in on the origins. There are so many funny words for farting.
I did the same thing. I got a list. Did you come with a list? Let's go back and forth.
I have a few. I just put a few. Okay.
You do one.
The air biscuit.
Okay.
Okay, that kills me.
I got some normal ones like break wind.
Backdraft.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Isn't that funny?
Barking spider.
Oh, nice. The cornhole clap.
I don't have these
I
ones.
picked the weird ones.
I just found bottom burp.
Nice. The hiney hiccup.
Flufferdoodle.
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 Flufferdoodle. This one kills me. Horton hears a poo.
Okay, we didn't really need to venture into poo.
Horton
but
hears a poo.
Since you did.
Okay.
A joke my dad told me when I was a kid.
All right.
He goes, you know, have you ever looked in the toilet after you've gone number 2? I'm like, I guess, yeah. He goes, do you know why your poo comes to a point at each end? I'm like, I don't know. So your butthole doesn't slam shut.
That's such a funny dad thing. Which, no, I must use on my children.
Okay, you got another one?
The trouser trumpet.
Oh, wow. Pass gas.
I'm out.
Poot and toot.
Nice.
I liked barking spider.
Barking spiders.
That was, I had to think about it. I'm like, I don't get it. Oh, I get it.
And so, of all things, why it's so juvenile yet still amuses.
Still funny.
It still amuses me. Yeah. So, of course, when you're being civilized or wooing,
Backdraft is actually genius.
backdraft.
Yeah.
You'll never see the movie title the same.
That's why there's so much fire.
It's methane.
This is the best. I hope he actually remembers this.
Have you ever blue flamed?
This is my story.
All right, go.
I personally never have blue flamed.
Tell it.
I've seen it. So
I'm going to camembert.
Our listener, Dang Alano.
Okay.
I haven't seen him in a very long time, but used to see him kind of on the regular, like years ago. And when he was like a teen, him and a bunch of young people came walking down the hallway of where I work, and I had sitting on my desk a lighter. And he grabs it and he's like, and he's like, everybody, come here. I'm totally gonna Blue Angel this. And he falls to his back in the hallway. He's got.
Now, is a Blue Angel part of like the American Air Force specialized flight team?
Flatulence team.
Okay, continue.
And so he lays there. He's got probably half a dozen or more people circled around him as he's on his back, legs up at his chest, lighter around his hind end, right at his butt, and he's gonna light this up. Okay. So I'm in my office watching from my desk, and I'm on pins and needles because what he doesn't know is that's not a real lighter. It's one of those shocking lighters. And I'm like,
so as soon as
I didn't even have to set this up. He just walked in and grabbed this lighter off my desk. And so he's like, come here, okay, you guys ready? Throws it. Nobody else knows what's gone on. I'm under my desk laughing so hard. Dang, Alano, this episode is dedicated to you, my friend.
That's so funny.
Okay, you want to get into it?
Yeah. I'm really curious as to where this actually comes from.
I think you'll like it, but let's find out.
I said some words, where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
I know, it's so juvenile. It's awesome.
Okay. All right, origins. So here's something interesting. The word cut has been used to refer to breaking wind since the 1800s, just the word cut. So the actual phrase that we're referring to today, Cut.The.Cheese, came around the 50s, possibly between 65 and 70, depending on which kind of research you're reading and want to believe. But the word cut goes all the way back to the 1800s. So you could just say cut, and that meant air coming out of your barking spider.
You dropped in the air biscuit.
There's a backdraft. So since the late 1800s, cut in various phrases meant that, to fart, to expel intestinal gas. In 1891, there's reference in some literature that says to cut one's finger. That is also, so we say cut the cheese. Back then, you could have said, to cut one's finger. And they'd all snicker.
That makes like little to no sense.
I know. But that's
You cut your finger.
That's
Yeah, I
the
did.
only thing I can think of is that
bleeding
somehow dominoed to pull my finger.
Maybe that makes extra sense.
But cut your finger, cut one's finger meant to fart.
I don't understand how that's a thing.
I don't know. Cut already meant that. Maybe it was just the word cut was funny no matter what.
So is it possible then, because often in higher end or unique cheeses, they do have an odor. And
Yeah.
they're delicious and whatnot. So perhaps cutting the cheese was that odorous flatulence.
Yeah. So
Not just the silent version.
there's not much more to the origins, but Cut.The.Cheese came out 65, 70, somewhere in there. At least that's kind of what the best source tells us. Somewhere in the mid-60s, the phrase Cut.The.Cheese became a thing, but there's no real source of where it started or why. But just to kind of complete this thought and to go on what you said, like even like the cheese you brought has a rind. Many cheeses do have a rind. And some cheeses, their odor is so potent that it's sort of contained in that rind. And it's not until you break through the rind. It's not until you cut the cheese that the odor comes out. And some are nasty fart smelling cheeses, right?
Yeah. They taste amazing.
And so
but they smell like
it
farts.
also could have legitimate origins where it's just like it literally comes from cutting open the rind of cheese.
So if it ends up being that, where does it go from cut my finger to the stink of a toot?
What do you mean? What are you asking?
Like, what does your finger have to do with it?
I don't know. I think my guess is the word cut was already funny. And so someone actually cut their finger. They're like, I cut my finger. Snicker, snicker. Did you cut your finger? No,
I'm still missing the joke.
It's not a joke. I'm just saying, like, the word cut was all you needed to say.
Oh, you just cut.
Yeah.
You cut loose.
You cut. Anything with the word cut meant flatulence.
Huh.
So, cut one's finger.
I did come across one in a 1895 reference. The Gore student slang number 17, to cut no cheese. But this was 1895. Yeah. Cut no cheese.
Different meaning, right?
It meant to have no weight or value.
Right.
So
I think that falls under, like, didn't quite cut the cheese, didn't quite cut the mustard.
Yes. So the cut the cheese in terms of farts versus that doesn't cut the cheese.
Right.
Which this is lame. This has no value.
Right.
This is stupid. This doesn't cut the cheese.
Yeah.
Which would jump
which
in
I don't
somewhere.
think is used anymore, really, is it?
No, we would say cut the mustard.
Yeah.
Which, again, makes no sense.
Well, because you can't cut the mustard.
Oh, I don't know.
So it doesn't cut the mustard. Nobody cuts the mustard.
Who cuts the mustard?
Colonel.
Who cuts the mustard?
Colonel Mustard.
He cuts
Colonel
the
Mustard cuts.
with a pipe.
His finger.
So having no other real connection to it, when something has no value, it doesn't cut the cheese.
Right.
Which, I guess.
Let's start using it.
That doesn't cut the cheese.
That doesn't cut the brie. It should be a more specific. Like, I think it'd be funny if more often we used a specific but different every time name of cheese. Oh, maybe that's why it's Roquefort.
That doesn't
Roquefort.
Roquefort. Well, when you say that, actually came up with the an origins on that the word fart comes from the Old English word fjortan, which means to break wind.
Really?
Yeah, I came up with that in the old studies.
Wow.
Fjortan. Feortan, which means to break wind. So that's an Old English word for fart.
Oh,
Fjortan. Breaking wind.
I did not know that. Here, let me play a little something.
Sure.
Who cut the cheese? Who cut the cheese? I ask you, please, did you cut the cheese? I'm not adverse to learning. Tell me why my eyes are burning. Who cut the cheese? Everybody! Who cut the cheese? Who cut the cheese?
That is a clip. It keeps going from 2.5 Men.
Little Charlie Sheen?
Yeah, Charlie Sheen.
Uh-huh.
That's funny.
It's again, it's one of those things. Perhaps it's just in varying worlds, but you've got boys and I've got boys. But I think girls, I've got one daughter in particular that she is worse than I am, and she thinks it's hilarious.
Just let it fly wherever.
Yeah, I don't know what her public life, but at home she's a train wreck.
Do you have an embarrassing story about cutting the cheese?
Nothing that really jumps
Other
out.
than the bathtub bubble?
No, I'm thinking more of like a bend over, or you're exhausted, or you've just put pressure on yourself
Or
in
it's,
some.
it's more
way.
than cheese that comes out?
I had a friend of my mom's that they were doing shiatsu lessons together. So shiatsu.
Isn't that a dog?
Yes, kind of like that one. No, that's a Shih Tzu. But the shiatsu is a type of massage.
Oh, right. Where they use the dog.
Yeah, they get a dog to pound on you. And so in the shiatsu massage, well, he was like, okay, in the shiatsu massage, it's really good. This is what it does for you. Great. And so he's like doing like the massage here, and this should feel this, and a little hint of reflexology in there. And he was so into it and so serious about it. And I could feel a fjortan, an air biscuit cooking.
Okay.
And so as the pressure is building, he starts in massage, and he's like massaging in like my flank area, and I bust one. And so he's like massaging, and I'm like, whoa, what area can you make a person do that? And then so I reach over to myself in the same spot, and and had it cooked up a second, and then 0 seconds.
No way.
Press it myself. It's like, that is amazing.
He's like, yeah, stop pushing there.
Yeah, that was the end of it. Actually, he stopped doing it, and I know it
Yeah,
never
I wonder
happened.
why.
Because it never happened again.
Do it right now. It's the Pillsbury Doughboy button.
I guess instead of he, it's like a rig gearing down.
I remember, this isn't even that bad of a story, but I remember like I was at the age where it was more embarrassing than it would be now, where I was probably 10, 11, 12, and I was at Kmart.
Okay.
And I'm down one aisle, and I'm the only one in the aisle. So, you kind of do a shoulder check, and I keep looking, and this employee of Kmart jumps out from the other aisle. So like, I heard that, and goes back. I'm like, I was humiliated. And then for years, I'm like, what kind of employee? Like, maybe another customer, but the employee of the store going, I heard that.
See, they find it funny. He's probably going home telling that story of like, you wouldn't believe it. I was busy stocking aisle 4, and someone was unstocking aisle number 2.
Exactly.
So, anyways, it's one of those funny, amusing idioms. Everyone cuts the cheese on occasion, and some have value and some don't.
Flufferdoodle was one of the words. When I was a kid at home, my parents called it fluff. Like, you fluffed.
I don't know. That seems more elegant.
Who fluff?
In a feminine.
I don't think I was allowed to say fart as a kid.
Well, it's a little
I think
harsher.
That was a bad word.
It's a harsher sound.
Yeah.
It was a fluff.
Fluff.
Oh,
Fluff.
that makes it easy. Okay. Oh, it was just a fluff.
Or toot.
Just a little toot.
Did you toot?
Just a little toot.
You toot.
So cute. Where's like, who's been cooking air biscuits? It's a very different thing. Well, as we head in, we're so excited. This
Tell us.
Factual.
Preach it.
We have on order.
Come on now.
We have on order.
Can I get a witness?
Village Idiom shirts for our Christmas season.
So exciting.
So they're not Christmas shirts. They're just Village Idiom shirts that we are going to be giving away a half a dozen of these shirts throughout the Christmas season. We're going to do all of that. It'll be closer to our Christmas episode as a gift. We'll make sure you get them. The way that you're going to get entered into doing that is, one, dropping a comment.
Perfect.
Liking and commenting or in Instagram somewhere.
Yep.
You can send us a tweet or YouTube or that sort of thing. We want to hear from you. Every time we hear from you, we're going to make sure that you get registered in as another...
I want to make it more difficult, but I won't.
Well, what do you got?
I don't know. Like, tell us why you...
Well, I'll double up your vote count if you got a good story or something to go with it.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll double entry you.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
If you tell us why you should get one of these T-shirts, and there's a story,
story as it relates to your own flatulence.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, or anything as it relates to a particular episode leading up to Christmas.
Yeah,
we have them on order.
You got a good flufferdoodle story.
Yeah. And so we're excited about that. And so the way that you can connect in, obviously, Instagram, we are at the.village.idiom. On email, thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com. And Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 3 Minutes Gone.
Perfect.
So well, let's head us into some riddling.
Yeah, we got a game here that we like to play at the end of each episode where we take a 2-part trivia-based question that requires a 2-part overlapping answer. I'll give you one example because last week we had one. We only had one entry and I failed to write the name down. Or one. They got it right, but they got it right. But the question was: the person in my story about praying in the woods was married to this person and is where you will find the world's densest forest. Now, there's no way you can Google the answer to this one because it literally had to do with a personal story I told in the last episode. So the person in my story was my grandpa, and so who was he married to? My grandma. And where will you find the world's densest forest is in the Amazon basin. So it's Mark's Gramazon Basin.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how you play the game.
That was fantastic. Well, let me give you one as it relates to today and today's idiom. He broke wind on my international curd board.
International what?
Curd board.
Who?
He broke wind on my international curd board.
Cut.The.Cheese board, but I don't know another word for board. Cheese platter.
That's it.
Platter?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent. Cut.The.Cheese platter.
He just cut the cheese, not who cut the cheese. Cut.The.Cheese platter. Got it.
Cut.The.Cheese
platter. I'm stumbling over this.
No, you nailed it.
Okay, let me give you one.
You don't even look like you're trying, and you nailed it.
All right.
What do you got for me?
There's sometimes cheese in this all-you-can-eat veggie buffet, but please don't pass arachnid-inspired gas.
Oh, my God.
So I was just trying to tie cheese in. You can forget the first few words. All-you-can-eat veggie buffet.
I'm just going to go with salad barking spider.
There it is.
Okay, nice.
Salad barking spider. That's how you play this game.
Hey, let's see if some of our illegitimate children can beat you on this one.
Okay.
It's a little bit more out there.
Perfect.
Nicolas Cage rides in a plane with felons who fart.
So what's that movie? Is it just called Aircon? No, Con Air. And what was the next part?
Felons who fart.
Con Air Biscuit.
It's a Con Air biscuit.
Con Air Biscuit. Perfect.
Yeah, good job. You did it. Well, send us home.
All right, this one goes out to all of you guys. We need you to reply. Send us your stories. Send us your answers. And thanks for just listening. We really appreciate it. We've got some T-shirts that say thank you if you chime in and be a part of this.
They don't say thank you. They say Village Idiom.
That's a good point. All right, here's the challenge riddle link. You might ask, who cut the cheese when you smell one of these, said Jack Dawkins.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a toughie. You might ask, who cut the cheese when you smell one of these, said Jack Dawkins.
That's good. There's some couplets in there. That's very fantastic.
I was trying to find, I apologize because some people have left messages on Facebook and I have missed them. And
okay, we'll get on
I'm
that.
paying better attention. I was trying to look up quickly the name of the person I apologized to online, but
Tanya Barron.
That's it. Thank you, Tanya Barron.
Yeah, she's a Facebooker. We love her. She's an awesome person
and a dedicated listener. Thank you.
Yeah. So with that, we've really enjoyed putting today's episode together, and we hope you've enjoyed listening to it.
This office reeks of that cheese now.
I am Skinny.
I am Jurassic Limburger Mark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Oh yes, it's Mr. Mayfair here, and I cut the cheese.
That's 3 minutes gone.